BlackBerry Movie is working its way around the theater circuit starting May 11th. And it's spawned a lot of conversations, a lot of stuff talking about Blackberries. And I thought, let me go ahead and pull out my BlackBerry Mobile KEY2. So this is an Android-based BlackBerry, the KEY2, the last true flagship, as it were, when it came to BlackBerry phones, made under the licensing agreement with TCL. And overall, I think it was a good phone. I think there was a lot it had to offer. I think that unfortunately maybe it was just a little bit too late because the ship had largely already sailed. But, I mean, we kind of already figured that out once we had to license out phones to another brand to make them, right? BlackBerry is no longer a phone-making business. And it's just crazy to think about that because they were the biggest smartphone company in the world. They were on top of the hill for a long time, and I'm sure there was some mismanagement. I'm sure there was some clinging to things that worked that didn't necessarily have a working model for the future. Lots of different things that really transpired. And I mean, it's really sad because there's a lot of us, even to this day, that still love this brand. I mean, shoot, this phone is almost 5 years old now. It came out in the year 2018. We're in 2023, so summer of 2018. And I remember it like it was yesterday because I pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered this phone, and then it was like 6-7 weeks late because of like stock issues and stuff. And I was frustrated. I paid a lot of money for this, sitting around waiting for my phone to show up, and it's like, yeah, where's my phone? So I got it. It's funny, I've had this same case. It's a brand called Tet Dead, and it's a leather case, and it's actually worked really well. I've had it for, well, basically since the phone came out, and it's been a really good leather case. But overall, the phone, I mean, I think that they did a good job. TCL, there were definitely some growing pains when it came to the original Key 1. They learned a lot, like putting more adhesive on your screen so it doesn't fall out, and adding more RAM so your phone actually can do multitasking, which is kind of an important thing for BlackBerry users, right? So there's been a lot that's happened, and one thing that happened was, well, they never really got the support they needed. Now, we did kind of get a continuation of security patches for a while, but the BlackBerry KEY2 never even really got a software update. It was supposed to get Android 9. It was supposed to go beyond, and all it got was Android 8.1. And it was so frustrating because it was right on the precipice of being great. Because one thing I wanted sorely when it came to the Android BlackBerries was the swipe gestures. When it came to BlackBerry 10 and the all swipe gesture based OS, it really was a futuristic experience. I think they did a great job. And it's funny because BlackBerry 10 got criticized so heavily for being unintuitive, and nobody wanted it, and there was no back button to use. And now look at where we're at. We're using basically the same thing. And it's funny because BlackBerry, I think, was very pioneering a lot of these ways. And I know some people will say that, the Palm Pre and other ones were also, they were responsible for a lot of that stuff. But anyway, so the BlackBerry KEY2, it wasn't the greatest. It was a good phone as far as operational competency. The keyboard was good. The spacebar, legendarily not great. Because it wobbles, and also it's really not that accurate. Like, I've had so many problems with mine. I've got a second BlackBerry KEY2. Like, the fingerprint sensor in this one basically just kind of stopped working. Sometimes when I hit spacebar, it won't space over for my letters. But again, this phone it's been through some work, right? It's been through the ringer. It's had a lot of typing done on it, and I enjoyed the experience. I thought that it was finally a good blend, because when you take a look at the previous BlackBerries, they were all 3-inch screen, 3.1-inch screen, 3.5-inch screen, 4x3 or square box ratio. And then we got this, more elongated, taller, better aspect ratio. You could actually turn it sideways if you wanted to play some games or you wanted to do some landscape apps and stuff like that. It wasn't just limited to holding it like this and hoping that you could get a resolution adjustment to where everything kind of fit right. The keyboard worked well. Of course, you've got the capacitive features where you could swipe back and forth on the home screen, and you could also do stuff like the flick for the swipe typing when it came to suggestions and previews. You could also use the shortcut keys, short press, long press, the speed key, which was also nice because the thing is you could use the shortcut keys. Like, I think mine's still set up for C, it goes to Chrome. Well, if you're inside of an app and you press it, it won't use it. So the speed key bypasses that and allows you to use programmable hotkeys with the keys while you're inside of an app. So there was a lot of thoughtfulness here. They went a long way to integrate this to where you could really get a great experience out of the keyboard, good for typing, good for hand jamming stuff on your phone, of course, email, communication. And one thing I really loved using this for the longest time was social media, especially when you're typing things like hashtags, you want things to be accurate. You really didn't need as much of an edit key dealing with Twitter whenever you could type so accurately, especially with proper punctuation and all that stuff, using the physical keyboard. So I think there's still a place in the world for something like this. My hope latently in the back of my mind is that, hey, maybe this movie will bring a resurgence of interest in BlackBerry as a brand. Maybe they'll start doing better. I don't know. Last thing I heard like a week ago was they were looking at maybe selling off parts of the company. So it doesn't seem like they're doing that great. It really doesn't seem like they've been doing that great at all, basically over the last 10 years. So I know they tried to turn things around, and hey, maybe they are. But they completely pivoted to a software and security services only company. They made it abundantly clear they weren't a phone company anymore. So the idea of sitting around and thinking, okay, will we ever get a phone? And if we do, it'll be probably under some sort of licensing agreement. I know they've basically sold or leased out a bunch of non-essential patents to some patent company in exchange for cash because they need money. So I'm not expecting a whole lot of greatness out of them. I mean, it really wouldn't surprise me if 5 years from now they're like, look, BlackBerry no longer exists. They changed the name. They go private, whatever. Who knows? But there was a certain period of time for a long time where I would only use a BlackBerry phone. I started using them in 2005, the very first one. The very first consumer model they had at AT&T, the 7100G, and I thought I was living large. Like, I bought it, I was using my email everywhere. It had the limited browser functionality. It was so cool. And I always loved the BlackBerry phones. I thought that they were great for the keyboard, kind of a status symbol. I mean, kind of like the iPhone was for a long time when they first came out. And there was like this just certain air of being, a BlackBerry user. No, it's not for fun. This is for work. It's for serious stuff getting done, right? Of course, Brick Breaker. I never really was a big fan of Brick Breaker. I don't know about y'all, but yeah, the Key 2, I always had hope for a Key 3. I felt like they were almost there. Like the Key 1 and the Key 2, they did a lot right. I felt like going from a Key 2 to a Key 3 experience could have really made the next jump and gave us the phone that everybody was hoping for all that time. But the licensing agreement just, everything fell apart. Clearly there was no interest in the phones. They were just losing money, and that's where we're at now. Clearly there's no interest in losing money. I think that's probably the best title you could think of for BlackBerry right now. But hey, I'm always ever hopeful that they'll do something. I always hope that one day the board of directors will be like, come on guys, we're firing the power plant back up and making a secure phone again. And I think more now than ever, we need secure phones. We need secure phones with secure communications that we can use, reliable, don't have Big Brother spying on us, not susceptible to getting hacked, and something that you can feel confident in using on a daily day-to-day basis to do your work. And I think that now is more important than ever. So we'll see what happens in the future. Maybe somebody else steps up. Maybe there's some other security-minded, focused group out there that's like going to revolutionize things, because we've gotten really far away from it. Like for the longest time, people didn't want BlackBerries because they were restrictive. They didn't allow you to do things. You couldn't open certain things. You couldn't have certain apps. You couldn't do certain social media things. So that really, I think, was a big nail in the coffin. Like the social media wave, I think, is what killed BlackBerry more than anything. And people still didn't mind the keyboard. They still wanted to type. They still liked the security, but they didn't like being so restricted that they couldn't do all that stuff. So people started carrying an iPhone. They started carrying an Android phone in their pocket so they could do all those things. And then it just, I mean, who wants to carry two phones, right? I mean, I do because I like to carry 2 or 3 phones, but most people don't. You'd be surprised. So that's all I've got. I just thought I'd talk about this trip down memory lane. I'm going to go see the movie as soon as it's available. And I don't know, maybe we'll recap after that. But that's all I got. I'd love to hear some of your BlackBerry experiences, some of your time with the phones. And also, have you seen the movie yet? If so, or if you're going to, sound off in the comments. We'll talk about it. But that's all I got. If you enjoyed the video, if you found this helpful, please hit the like and the subscribe button. And the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you guys next time.